welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the brand new I Heart Revolution Cinnamon palette. Now I say brand new because maybe about 5 minutes after I received this, Revolution announced some brand new Halloween products, and the Halloween products feature some more chocolate bar palettes. Someone please tell Revolution to slow down because no one can keep up anymore. Anyway, today's look is going to be in collaboration with Lady Noctis over on Instagram. We decided to do a pumpkin spice themed makeup, and this came up online around the time we decided to do it, and I just figured it was absolutely perfect, so that's why I decided to get my hands on it. I will leave her Instagram link down below, so do make sure that you check her out and leave some love over on her post. So I haven't actually tried a chocolate bar palette in a while. The last one was the mint chocolate palette, which I reviewed over on my blog. I was really excited for it, and then I didn't like it, and I've now decluttered it, so I'm hoping I'll have a better experience with this one. So when you get the palette out of the sleeve, this is what it looks like. I think it matches my back wall. If I put this against the wall, okay, no, it's a bit more orangey, but we're not far off. So you've got this, I'm calling it Magnolia, box with the usual chocolate drip, and this time it's red. And oh my god, you guys, it's still closed, but I can smell the cinnamon. And in a good way, like, I don't actually like cinnamon, but I don't mind this palette, and it does make me think of autumn and Christmas, so quite excited for it. When you open up the palette, this is what it looks like. There was a plastic film over the top, but when I opened up the palette, that fell off and went straight on my kitchen floor, and I figured it wouldn't be very hygienic for the shadows to put it back in there, so I've left it out. You're getting 18 shades. The palette is cruelty free, but it is not vegan, and it looks like some of these are eyeshadows and some of them are pressed pigment. So on the back of the palette and on the sleeve, it tells you which ones are eyeshadows and which ones are pressed pigment, and for the pressed pigments it does say that they are not eye safe. It smells so good. So yeah, the shades are neutral to warm. We've got some yellows, some orange. We have got a couple of cooler tones as well. We've got a black and we've got a white, so that's quite nice. What I really like as well is all of the names are spices, which is really cute. So things like saffron, ginger, cardamom, cinnamon, there we go, pink pepper. I really like the theme for this one. I think it's a really well thought out palette, although I don't actually know how much time Revolution spend thinking about their products because they churn them out so quickly, but it's not anything particularly special, but I feel like it's a really nice autumn palette. The palette retails for £9. I ordered mine off the Revolution Beauty website. It was not available on the Superdrug website at the time, and it looks like it also isn't at the moment, but if by the time the video goes up it is, I will include a link in the description. I think that's enough chit chat about this palette, so I'm going to prime my eyes with the PLouise Base and get stuck in. So I primed my eyes. As I hit record, my camera died, so I changed out the battery. I put on my first colour, and then I realised I hadn't hit record. It's one of those days, guys, so I've taken everything off now, and that way I can just redo it and show you everything again. I do just want to say though, obviously it's now been a little bit longer since I've had the palette open, and I'm really starting to smell the cinnamon. It's kind of starting to become a lot. So it's nice at the beginning, but it's just getting a little bit strong, and I might have to start closing the palette soon. Anyway, for my first shade for the second time, I'm going to jump into Paprika from the palette, which is this lovely orange, and this is one of the pressed pigment shades, so just be aware that it could potentially stain your eyes. I'm taking it on a Zoeva 231 and packing that into my crease. We'll just say that I am quite pleasantly surprised with this shade. It's definitely a lot more pigmented than I expected it to be. As I mentioned, my first experience with the chocolate bar palette wasn't that great, so I wasn't expecting much, but actually this is quite nice, and I'd probably be disappointed if it wasn't because it is a pressed pigment. I really want to get my hand on these yellows, so my next shade is going to be Turmeric, and I'm going to take that on a clean 231 and blend out Paprika with it. So Turmeric is an eyeshadow, it's not a pressed pigment. Can I really tell the difference? I suppose it is taking a little bit more work to get it nice and pigmented, really. As far as yellow eyeshadows go though, it's not bad. Definitely not the most pigmented, but not bad. I do feel like I found it easier to blend it out on my inner corner than I am out here. Like I feel like I'm still seeing more of a line here. I kind of feel like I had the same issue more on the outer corner on the left eye, so I don't know if it's just in the way that I apply the eyeshadows or something, but it's still pretty. So I'm going to move on to my next shade, and I've just given my brush a quick wipe just because it had gone orange. Now I'm going to take the shade Saffron up here, which is the lighter yellow, and again this is an eyeshadow, so it's not one of the pressed pigments. And I'm going to use that to come and carry on blending out. So in the pan this looks like it's kind of a bit more neon almost than Turmeric. I don't know if I'm noticing a lot of difference on the lid. I don't feel like one is more pigmented than the other or anything like that. It is giving us a nice blend, but there's not a huge difference. For a drugstore yellow, I can't really complain. Okay, well I suppose I do see a bit of a gradient. I don't know if it's the lighting, I feel like I see it more on my left eye, but it does look a bit brighter where I've got Saffron, and then where Turmeric and Paprika have blended, it's definitely a bit more orange. I'm just going to jump back into that first brush quickly, just a little bit, just to add a little bit of Paprika right into the crease. And just a little bit on the lower lash line as well. And then again, just a little bit of Turmeric in with that second brush after giving it a bit of a wipe. I've just wiped off that first 2, 3, 1, and this time I'm going to jump into a little bit of chili pepper, and I want to see what happens when I layer the colours on top of each other, so I'm now going to use that to deepen the crease. Oh, interesting. So chili pepper is one of the pressed pigments, and it seems to be layering pretty well over the top of the others, and then just wiping it clean just to finish blending that out. And then again with the second 2, 3, 1, having also just given it a little bit of a wipe. So I think I forgot to mention this at the beginning. The palette is all matte, and having had a little bit of a play around with it and just looking at it now, I feel like some of the tones do look like they're going to be quite similar, just because you've got ginger, coriander, clove, caraway, nutmeg, star anise. I feel like there's a lot that are in the same family, and I'm kind of almost wishing now that they had some sort of shimmers in there, like maybe a gold, maybe a shimmery orange. I think that would have been quite nice. I'm going to cut my crease now, so I'm going to jump back into my PLouise Base and start cutting that with my Blank Canvas Cosmetics F17 brush. And then just taking inspiration from the cloud trend, I'm going to add some circular shapes to the edge of the cut crease. Just going to go back in with my Zoeva brush just to blend out those edges. And then I'm just going to take Paprika again and fill in the gap. So next up I'm going to take a small and very flat brush, and I'm going to jump into Cinnamon and fill in my cut crease. So Cinnamon is a pressed pigment. I feel like it's having issues attaching properly to the PLouise Base almost. It's looking very patchy, which is really disappointing that that's happening on the cut crease. Let me try this e.l.f. brush, which is a little bit bigger, and see if we can fix this. Okay, I think this is improving the situation. I'm just going to try and blend it out into Paprika. I'm going to take an even smaller brush just to try and fill in the edges of the cut crease. Okay, that smallest brush seems to be the best at filling it in so far. So I don't know if this is just specific to cinnamon and maybe this would need more testing, but so far what I'm noticing is that when the shades have been blended out on the crease and on the under eye, they've done pretty well. They haven't been patchy. I haven't had any issues really. When I've tried to pack cinnamon onto the lid, that's really where I've had an issue. I feel like I've got it. Maybe it was the brush that I used at the beginning, but if this is a recurring thing and the shades in this palette aren't really any good for packing, what are you meant to do on your lid? Like, it seems a little bit limited. I suppose because there are no shimmers within the palette, the expectation is probably almost to use other shimmers with it, which I guess Revolution has so many eyeshadows anyway that that's not a problem. But that was a little bit frustrating. So I'm now going to jump into Sumac down here, which is the purple, just because it turns out that my blend and cinnamon kind of match. So I'm just going to go very slowly with it and just try and outline the cut crease to create a bit of contrast. Oh, no, yeah, that's working quite well. I've gone over just a little bit. I'll just add a bit more of coriander. Cinnamon. Okay, that's added a little bit of dimension, but it is just looking a little bit flat just because there's just kind of nothing else. Let me do the other side and then I'll have a think about what else we can add to make this stand out just a little bit more. Okay, so yeah, cinnamon was definitely quite a bit more difficult than I expected it to be, and I will say as well, I don't know if you can see, but it was very powdery in the palette. I did find myself digging in quite a bit. I just think it had a lot of fallout for how patchy it was. It doesn't even feel that even on my left eye, but that's fine. The left eye is not the one I photographed for Instagram, so it doesn't matter. Okay, I do feel like this is just looking just a little bit sad just because it's completely matte. So I think what I'm going to do is jump into my highlighter Reloaded by Revolution. This is the shade Raise the Bar, the gold. I'm going to take that on another flat brush and apply that into the ridges. Let's see what that does. And then just bring it down. This product's been out for a while, but it's new to me. This is the Revolution Renaissance Flick, I think it's called. I was having a conversation about pen eyeliners on Instagram and I haven't used one in ages, so I just wanted to give it a go even though it's not a new product. That's really, really black and really easy to use as well, but it's definitely bleeding, unfortunately, so that's a little bit annoying. You know what, I actually like this a lot better now that I've got the liner on. The liner's okay, it's definitely very black and very easy to use. I do have some bleeding, but it's nothing like the NYX Epic Ink liner, which I absolutely hated because it just bled everywhere. So not bad, and I don't really think that the eyes need anything else at this point. I think the liners frame that really nicely. I think I'm just gonna add my NYX Off Tropic liner in Mimosa Orange to my waterline. I'm just going to go off camera to do my mascara and lashes, which are going to be the Kiss Gala lashes. I'm also going to start applying my foundation, and then I'm going to come back because I've got a new product that I want to play with today. Okay, so all I've done so far is my foundation and my concealer, and before I jump into my powder, I really want to try this. This is the Lottie London Freckle Tint. I know I am super late to this party. I've been wanting to try one of these ever since I saw Morgiereacts using, I think it's just called Freck, in one of her videos. But that was silly expensive for what you actually got. I think this just cost me about £6 just on the Lottie London website. I figured that some freckles might be quite cute with this look, and this product is is cruelty-free and vegan. I'm probably gonna mess up this look, so let's see how it goes. That was really stupid because all that did was lift off my foundation. Are there actually any instructions on this? So it does say to apply it with this and then to gently tap it with your finger to soften the shape, but all that did was lift off my foundation. But what I'll do is powder after using this. Tickles slightly. Easy to use. I think I expected the brush to be a lot more flimsy, like for you to accidentally make some giant dots that you don't want, but it's easy to keep them small. It just does really tickle my face. How do I know when to stop? That would be my question. I feel like I've made a really big dot on my nose. Can I tap that? Oh, okay. Just tapping them really slightly because I don't want to disturb my foundation underneath. It's given it overall quite a cute result. So I had to disturb my foundation just a little bit, so I'm just going back over it with my sponge. Doesn't seem to be covering it up too much. I'm just going to powder with my MAC Mineralize skin finish and just see if we can still see them through it. Okay, I don't know if I've done a particularly good job of it or not. You can still see them through the powder, but not quite, so maybe this needs to be used over powder? I don't know. What does it say on here? Yeah, it just says how to apply it, but it doesn't say we should be doing that over powder or anything, so maybe that's where I went wrong, but I know for next time. Alright guys, so I've got most of the rest of my face on now. The freckles do kind of seem to be covered up at this point, and when they're not covered up, they're looking quite purpley. So I'm guessing that's something that I've done wrong. If you've used this before, definitely let me know in the comments how I should be using it because the instructions aren't super clear. Anyway, I'm going to move on to highlighter now, and this is not a new product, but it's been a while since I used it. It's the Soph highlighter palette. I used to quite like mixing in these two because I feel like we need a golden highlight. I always hear people saying that they really like this because it's really pigmented, but it's barely even glowing under these lights. I'm just going to take my L'Oreal Shake and Glow and spray my brush. I just feel like, considering how much Soph likes highlighter, I really expected this to be just a lot more pigmented, and I never feel like it's that glowy on me. Just gonna take just the lightest one on a smaller brush, and again just spray that, and then get that on my Cupid's bow in my nose. So while I was getting the cinnamon palette, I also finally picked up the Soph lipsticks, which have been out for so long at this point, but they were on sale, and I figured they would be really nice for autumn. So this is the shade Syrup, and I think it'll go really well with this look. Ooh, that is so creamy. Wow. Okay guys, my camera battery did unfortunately decide to die on me just as I was finishing up my lips. I didn't expect it to be so glossy and creamy. It's very comfortable, the colour is very pretty and does match the look. And I did add some highlighter to my inner corner and my brow bone. So now for my final thoughts on the palette. So the smell is definitely a bit much after a while, and once you've used it I would recommend putting it in your drawer so that you no longer smell it. Oh my god, okay, it's too much now. In terms of the colour scheme, I think the colour scheme is really pretty. It is absolutely perfect for autumn. The problem is no one's going to use it because Revolution have already got their Halloween collection out, so I feel like no one's really going to get to enjoy this. I liked it. I didn't think the blending was too much work. I didn't think the quality was particularly bad. I didn't think it was amazing, but it was definitely an improvement on the experience I had a couple of years ago with the mint chocolate palette. I think to me the issue is that there's just something missing. Like, I would have loved to see just a bit more variety in terms of the textures, so maybe some shimmers. Not a lot, just a couple. Maybe even a pressed glitter. We know that Revolution Pro makes pressed glitters. A gold or an orange. And to be fair, this was my complaint with the mint chocolate palette as well. There's a lot of samey neutral shades. All of these are just kind of the same. I think there's a decent variety of looks to be gotten out of this, but yeah, I feel like just a couple more textures, even if it was just 2 or 3 eyeshadows, just to make it a bit more interesting, would have been quite nice. If you are after an affordable palette for autumn and you're after these kind of tones, this could be a good purchase for you. However, I think at this point, if you're a big Makeup Revolution fan or just even a big makeup fan, there's been a lot of warm tone palettes already. So if you've already got a lot of palettes, there's probably nothing new for you in here. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope, as always, that you enjoyed it. If you did, do please give it a big thumbs up, leave me a comment letting me know what you think, and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on the next video. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.